In this video, I'm going to go over how to install your spare tire if you have a flat tire, unfortunately. I'm also going to go over some lift points so that you know where to safely raise and support the vehicle if you need to perform any repairs. Let's get started. Before we start, make sure your vehicle is on flat level ground, in park, and has the parking brake engaged. To access the vehicle's spare tire as well as the tools, open up the trunk. In the trunk, lift up this bottom carpet and you'll find your spare tire. Typically, it's held on with a screw that goes through the middle and secures it right here. Ours is missing, unfortunately, so I can just lift it right up and out. Only thing that does is secure it so that it doesn't move around. Right next to it in a pouch, you'll find some of the tools that we're going to need, so we'll take this and set it aside. Drop this back down. The jack that comes with the vehicle is going to be located as you're looking into the trunk on the right-hand side. There's only one plastic cover here, so you can't miss it. Remove it, and that's where you'll find the jack. To take this out, you'll notice that it doesn't want to just pull right up and out. That's because you have to unscrew it. It's usually opened up, basically, so that it doesn't rattle around like this. So once you unscrew it a little bit, it should be able to come right up and out. Before we get started, it is really not recommended to put a space saver or donut spare tire, whatever you want to call it, on the front of the vehicle, on a steer tire that is. So I'm going to show you how to put it on the rear. If you had a flat tire on the front, you would put it on the rear and then take the good tire from the rear and put it on the front. The procedure is exactly the same, so that's why I'm only going to show you how to install it on the rear. In this pouch that we found, you'll find a couple different tools that are crucial to performing this job. One is going to be your tire iron. This is going to go over your lug nuts and help you break them free. And the other one is this hook handle that goes on the jack so that you can actually jack up the vehicle. This also has a little Allen key that comes with it, but we're going to ignore that. We do not need it. This is all we need. With the weight of the vehicle still on the ground, I'm going to break free all 5 of these lug nuts. If you do this after you jack it up, not only could the wheel spin, and that's not going to get you anywhere, but also you could be pushing the vehicle off of the jack, which is completely unsafe. Having said that, I'm going to put this on the lug nuts and pull on it. I know this isn't very long, but you really shouldn't need all that much leverage to break these free. Now, if for some reason they are extremely tight, what you can do is put it on and kick it. Don't remove them all the way. You don't want the wheel to start falling off of here. All you want to do is break them free. They're all broken free, so let's jack this corner of the vehicle up. Slide the jack stand underneath the factory lift point, which is this right here. There's one of these on each corner of the vehicle. I'm going to go over these in more detail in a little bit when it comes to raising and supporting for repairs. However, right now we're only focusing on the vehicle's jack for the emergency spare tire. So put it right up against it. Make sure the jack is on a solid surface and it's not going to cave in or sink in or buckle under pressure. Give this a couple twists. Then you want to grab your hook that goes on the jack. On the end of this, you can put the tire iron so you can use it as a handle. Hook this on and give it a bunch of twists until the vehicle is raised off the ground just enough to remove that wheel. That's perfect right there. I don't need to go any further. I see an air gap. Do not go under the vehicle at this point. Do not put your arms or legs or anything underneath because these jacks are somewhat dangerous and they can collapse. These are only for emergencies. The lug nuts can now be removed by hand. If for some reason they're still stuck, grab your tire iron and break them free the rest of the way, then remove them. There we go. The wheel is coming off now. Remove it. Keep in mind, if your tire is completely flat, the wheel and the vehicle itself will be closer to the ground. Now, when you're putting on an inflated tire, you'll have to raise it up a little bit if you haven't already raised it up extra to make up for the flat tire. Take your spare tire, slide it over the lug studs carefully, and make sure it stays on there. Start on your lug nuts. My parking brake is set. However, I don't want to tighten these down completely yet. I'm just going to take the lug wrench and give them a little snug, just like this. I don't want to tip the vehicle or push it. I just want them to have a little bit more pressure so that when I put the vehicle down, the wheel doesn't go at an angle. I'm going in a cross pattern to make sure the wheel gets seated properly. Okay, so they're snugged up but not fully tightened yet. Let's put the vehicle down and put some more pressure on these lug nuts. Go the other way now. That should lower the vehicle. Okay, with a little bit of weight on that tire, I don't want to put the full weight of the vehicle on it yet. We can now fully tighten these lug nuts. Of course, if you're on the side of the road, you're not going to have a torque wrench or anything like that. So the best thing you can do is put the lug wrench on and step on it. Give it a couple kicks. About a quarter turn after they get snug should be plenty to tighten these up. Double check them, make sure they're all even. Regardless, this is only to get you to the closest tire repair shop. There we go. Let's lower the vehicle all the way. All right, slide the jack out from underneath, and there you have it. This tire has been replaced. If your flat tire was on the front, you would now take your rear tire that is good and do the same exact procedure and put it on the front. Let's put our tools back. The jack goes in its slot right over here. Make sure it drops down all the way, and once it does, expand it a little bit, open it up. That's going to basically clamp it within itself here so that it stops moving around. There we go, that's good. And cover this up. These tools go back in their little pouch if you still have yours. And close it up so they don't fall out. At this point, a full-size tire won't fit underneath the trunk mat, which is where the spare tire was. So I'm going to put the tools over here. And until it gets fixed, the full-size tire has to just sit in the trunk, just like this. Now let's go over support points. If you're jacking it up and putting it on jack stands, and if you're putting it on a lift, the support points are basically going to be exactly the same for one or the other. However, jacking it up on the front of the vehicle, you can put your floor jack on the front of the subframe. You'll see that there is an indentation here. That's where the manufacturer wants you to put the jack, right in the center. And once you have made contact with the jack, make sure you're, of course, on flat level ground. With the parking brake on, chalk off your wheels and raise it up. For most repairs, you don't need to go much higher than this, to be honest, and the higher you go, the more unsafe it is. So just go as high as you need it to be, and let me show you where to place jack stands. The front subframe is very symmetrical from one side to another. So having said that, I'm going to show you on this side. The flat sides here, you could place a jack stand on. However, that is not technically the assigned point for it by the manufacturer. But sometimes you have to, just because of the type of work that you're doing, which is why I'm showing you this. So basically you would take it, raise it up, put it here, and drop the vehicle on it. Of course, you'd put the same exact jack stand in the same spot on the other side. What is recommended, however, is that you use the same points that we used earlier in the video for raising and supporting with the vehicle's jack. These right here, these tabs that stick out, are made for jack stands or for a lift. If you're on a lift, this is also where you'd want to go. There is one on each corner of the vehicle. Having said that, I'm placing my jack stand right here. There's one already on the other side, so I'm going to slowly lower the jack and lower the vehicle on the jack stands. And once you're done with your repair, raise up the vehicle once again so we can remove the jack stands. Of course, you'd go in the same lift point with the jack as it was before. Pull the stands out and slowly lower the vehicle to the ground. In the rear of the vehicle, things are just a little bit trickier because there is no center point for raising this vehicle. Unfortunately, you're going to have to go right here. This flat area is what is meant for a jack to support the weight of the vehicle. It will go at a slight angle. However, if you raise it a little bit higher, you can then even it out with jack stands. And I'll show you exactly how to do that. The support points are exactly the same as they were in the front. a little lip hanging down from in front of the rear wheel. I'll show you that in a second. For now, let's get the jack underneath. What you don't want to do is jack up on the exhaust or underneath that fuel tank strap, anywhere where it's soft and, well, not even. That's about as far as I need to go and want to go, so let's put some jack stands in. Just like in the front, I'm going to place them right here on this support point. I'm going to do the same to the other side. At this point, I'm going to count the notches on each jack stands and level them out. That's it right there. This side is a little bit higher, so that, when it drops down, should be leveled. Very slowly let the jack down, and that should seat the car on the jack stands. I always like to keep the jack underneath the vehicle for an extra safety measure. At this point, you can perform your repair. Once your repair is completed, jack up the vehicle again and remove your jack stands. If you are on a lift, you would use the same exact lift points or support points in the back, here and on the other side, right in front of the rear wheel. Those four are lift points for the vehicle if you're on a lift. Slowly let the vehicle down once you're done. Remove your jack, and there you have it.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.